was a boy, just like every other boy. He had average folks, he played with average toys. Johnny grew up, and when he was 18, Uncle Sam dressed Johnny in army green. Johnny went off Vietnam War. What Johnny did and what he saw was a horror. Johnny was smart, his wit was keen. He got pretty damn good with the M.I.C. Hello, friends. Artie here. That's a song called Johnny's Dead, a piece I wrote several years ago about a young man who was drafted into the armed forces for the Vietnam War. And he went, and when he came home, he was a much different person than he was the day he left. And he came to become disenchanted with our government and highly suspect of the motivations that got us into not only the Vietnam War, which we lost, and lost millions and millions of dollars of military equipment and hardware when we left Vietnam, but also the Afghanistan War, the Iraq War, the Korean War, and there were several others. We still are sending millions of dollars to Korea to defend the demilitarized zone, and we have money problems in our country. Yes, this is true. But it's not that we don't have enough money, it's the way we spend our money. And today's podcast is about that. It's about the military industrial complex and the $890 million a year that they spend in this country to buy more bullets, to kill more people in foreign lands, because they're not here, they're over there. And most of you will say, well, that's very patriotic. Well, if you lived in one of those countries, you would call it something else. They have a term for it here. It's called murder. And when you randomly kill people without a trial or without any active combat engagement, they call that murder. And so there are people around the world who don't like us very much because of that word and that activity that we've been engaged in for a very long time. And I'd like to introduce to you this morning the beast. You notice there's a dollar sign there. And the beast is simply the people in our country who have a vested interest in owning politicians so they can get the votes and the bills and the permission, if you will, to go and create more conflicts around the globe. If you are a history buff or you know any history, you realize that since World War II, there has not been a declared war, declared by Congress that we are going to war. And the reason is because after the Vietnam War, people would not vote for it. And if your local senator or congressman voted to go to war, people would start to ask questions like, why? And then there would be more questions. And of course, that's how the Vietnam War ended. Enough people said, hell no, we won't go, and we're not sending our sons off to Southeast Asia to die for something that you have not even explained. You haven't even told us why. You just said, we have to go over there and kill those people. So We have the military industrial complex, $890 million this year. It's probably billion. I'll have to look that up and get back to you. I think it's billion. Yeah, it's probably closer to the fact. Uh, and then we give billions of dollars to foreign aid other countries. And that is not cash, by the way. Those billions of dollars say that we're trying to give to the Ukraine. It's not money. They're not throwing dollar bills at the Russians. They're throwing bullets and bombs and rockets and uh, war items such as that at the Russians. And we are providing those weapons ourselves and our allies in Europe. And that's the same as money. Um, but money actually buys more than that. Um, by the time that the military industrial complex gets done um, making its profit, it's substantially less than the value of the weapons that they're sending. Um, when I was in the military, the truck drivers made $115 a month. If you give standard inflation, they're probably getting $3,000 a month now. But these are ancillary services provided by the Defense Department and their contractors. And the American taxpayer, pays about $12,000 a month to drive that truck, where we used to, pay about $3,000 a month, adjusted for inflation. It was $115 for a private first class to drive it in the Vietnam War. But now it's considerably more than that, but not $12,000 a month. So we have the beast in this country, which is the quest for money and power, and what people do to get it, and what people do to profit from it, and what people do to keep it. And we recently have found out that Supreme Court Justice has taken a tremendous amount of money from a Texas billionaire, a gentleman by the name of Harlan Cote. Anyway, um, and this gentleman has bought a motorhome for a Supreme Court judge, sent him on luxury vacations, he and his wife, for a number of years. And then when a decision is necessary, this Supreme Court justice uh, votes the way his friend would have him vote. And so we have those types of problems. And this is, again, money given by the beast to the politicians and to the government officials for favors in return. The bigger the campaign donation, the larger the favors are requested. And the great turmoil in Washington, D.C. today is that we have so many politicians trying to serve so many masters that nothing gets accomplished. Instead of just serving the American people, they have all of these